Sarjana and Vitaan.
Hello, everyone. Welcome once again to yet another insightful session of Samvad. We Vitanis have a core purpose to fulfill. We always look forward to highlight the popular stories from not so popular personalities that are, of course, us, and take out and listen to the unfamiliar stories of our familiar people. So, with the same intention, we are today here with us, our most beloved Vitan member, Jyoti Prakash sir. First of all, welcome, sir, and thank you so much for slicing your precious time from your busy schedule for this Samvad.
Shweta, thank you very much. And I'm aware that we have tried this for last few days to get this going. I think I'm really happy to be here and I'm really looking forward to the session.
Okay, thank you, sir. Inspiration has no definite source because our minds are much more agile, much more adaptive than we think they are. And that is the reason why there is no solid reason behind finding talent where we least expect it. Or maybe behind this common prejudice that we say that every profession comes with a rule book, which does not allow freedom to an artist to evolve. That's not completely true. Because bottom line is mind can perform anywhere, anyway, provided we tend to its musings. So, getting insights on the musings of one of such muse, today here we are with our Jyoti Prakash sir, whose name itself emanates a definite source of light. But, sir, what we have right now is just a name. So, I request you to introduce yourself to our audience.
Thank you. I'm mindful that I'm speaking to the author today. So she's already started bulldozing me with her super English, but I'll try and match up Shweta. So let me introduce myself. My name is Jyoti Prakash. I belong to a district called Aurangabad and has been born and brought up in a place called Patratu near Ranchi. Uh, was a part of BIT Sindri Mechanical 99 to 2003 batch and a part of Sarjana. I was the uh, member of the Sarjana team when Santosh Kumar used to be my editor in chief. Santosh Kumar, I'm taking his name because he's another beloved person of Sarjana family. I joined Tata Motors straight from the college to the campus and did my 3 years of hardcore engineering work in Jamshedpur and then moved on to do MBA from SP Jain, Mumbai. It was a 2 year MBA course, passed out in 2008 and joined this organization called Castrol. Uh, my last 14, 15 years in this organization have been very, very fulfilling. I've done roles, multiple roles in supply chain. And Shweta, as we speak, I'm based out of extreme west, a place called Silvassa. We have a factory here, and I'm heading the factory at this point of time. That's about a professional Jyoti Prakash. On a personal note, I'm married. Wife Asmita works for Byju's. Two sons. I am who's 9 plus, going to class 4, and Amay who's turning 3 in month of March. So that's about my personal life. About me, and I think I have evolved as a person. I always thought sports are the only passion I have, but I think of late I started liking theater as well, and that's something that I'm sure we are going to speak about. Over to you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. We have got a fair idea how much content we are going to build up through this session. Um, but let me just make our audience aware that today with this session, we are definitely going to take out as much as possible from Jyoti, sir. And by as much as possible, I mean that how a person can move towards a professional satisfaction in tandem with the personal growth that never goes standalone. So thank you so much, sir, for your wonderful introduction. This brings me to my next question. This question is very personal to me because whenever I hold such conversation, this is the best part that I admire from my speakers. How have been your trajectory? How different were you from being an engineer to a management student? From business school to company reared and raised, from working on fields to now heading a company. So, how your transition and evolution you would like to put up to the audience, sir?
So I think for me, if I look at and I keep asking this question, what has changed? I would say specifically nothing has changed. Of course, the priorities have changed, and you have to keep them changing because you're moving from one department to another department, one team, one place. So the changes have happened. But I think for me, I think something which has already remained with me is the passion that I have. I think I'm still passionate about my team, the people that I work with, my family, sports, the work that I undertake. So you can change your priorities, but I think for me, one thing which has always remained with me is my passion. Over to you.
Oh, wonderful, sir. The two P's that keeps you going are your priorities, which are intermingled with your passion. That's lovely to hear. We often consider our journey trivial unless we look back and see how much far we have come. So, if talking about someone who existed decades back is still thrilling to us, our younger selves, that means the journey must have been wonderful. So, let me take you a little back in time. Recall your days in BIT, your college days, how you were as a student, the moments that you specifically remember, some realizations that you have had at that time when you entered college for the very first time, your clubs, your friends, all of that.
Brilliant days. Thank you for asking that question. I think my best days of my life, absolutely, without a doubt. I think there was originality in everything that we did there. So raw, so pure. Most of us came from very humble backgrounds. A lot of these things that we started exploring together, I would say it was extremely unique. you know uh, I always say this: there is always a difference between your engineering friends and the friends that you make after that, MBA college or at work. The engineering guys, they remain with you. They know you so well, and I'm still in touch with my engineering friends. um, till about this pandemic hit, we used to go to Goa once in a year, every year in the month of December. And I think when you go there, you are just not holding anything. You are yourself, and you don't have to act at all, because the people that you're there with, they know each and every inch of you. Okay. I think in terms of my memories, I have so many moments I remember. I think that is the place which gave me confidence that I can do well. you know uh, the art that I learned there in terms of managing people, being with people, I think I'm still exercising most of them. Specifically from one specific moment or something like that, I would not say, but clubs, yes. I was a part of Sarjana, and that's why we are having a discussion. I was also part of Leo Club, and I did justice to both my clubs, and I still hold both of them very, very closely to my heart. Sports, I played a lot of sports. Okay, so in those 4 years, 60% of my time was in sports ground. I can confirm to you. Especially after third year, I was almost every time I was in the playground. So very, very vivid memories, Shweta. This is something that keeps me moving. In my dull moments, I always think about specific things and see how raw and how pure we were that time. So thank you for asking this question. It brings a lot of sweet memories.
Thank you, sir. It was really something, isn't it? College, I've been fortunate enough to be sharing two clubs with you, Leo and as well as Sarjana. And both of them were quite different in their stature. Leo was like blah, and Sarjana was like, again, you talked about purity and innocence. So, all that. And it is, of course, unfair on my part to be asking this question that needs elaborate hours to talk about.
Okay.
But again, we'll put a rest on that and we'll come to that. After college, I guess you joined Tata Motors.
Yes.
So, what after that you went for management? So, what changed within you? Why did you go for management, and what changed thereafter? Means how much change do you see before management and after management?
Okay, so to be honest, and all my friends in Tata Motors would say this. Santosh also knows this. Okay, so um, I was never planning to do MBA. I was somebody who was very happy working there, and I had a very small dream, and I used to tell this to Santosh, saying that we need to have a bike, we need to have a music system, and a house. We don't need anything, and such were our likelihoods, likeliness, our ambitions were very small that time, and we were very happy with them. I sat for cat as others in my all my colleagues were not free that Sunday. They were all going and applying for cat, and that's a very really true story. Obviously, it will look funny now, and I'm not trying to be humble at all. I filled my form like everybody else did. There was no preparation, nothing. I attempted few questions, okay, but as luck would have it, in terms of when in those days, if you score 30%, you're through. So I attempted few, but my luck, I think I cracked SPGen. I recited a poem, Shweta, in that interview, and I firmly believe that that tilted that in my favor. Somehow reached SPGen. I came in their third and final list. Okay, so it was not like flying colors. Somehow reached there. In terms of, I think what changed. I think everything. We cannot imagine. I couldn't have imagined that sitting in Jamshedpur Engineers Hall. I did my MBA 15 years back. I've traveled places, met some amazing leaders, individuals, worked with some fantastic people. Okay, been at multiple cities, interacted with a lot of people from other countries. It's an exposure that I wouldn't have imagined sitting in Tata Motors or while I was doing my engineering in BIT. So I think that's a unique thing which has changed, and I'm really happy that I took that step.
Wonderful. Uh, Even though you were not trying to be humble, but we know that you had the caliber to go into a management school and you did that. You have been a loyal employee to your current company so far. After, if I'm not wrong, after doing management, you joined Castrol and you're still doing wonderful jobs at Castrol. And you must have handled some significant projects at your company. We would like to know what was the most challenging project that you recall now, and how would you describe your management style, your working style, your ethics that you would like to connect with?
Mm. Shweta, in terms of the project, obviously I will not get into details, okay, but I will talk about the way I see my management style, and I think I'm fairly collaborative. Lot of this collaboration has come from what we learned in BIT Sindri, and you have been there and you have seen the various kinds of people, the professors, the stakeholders that we have engaged with. I think a lot of these was seeded there in when we were doing our engineering. I think as I said, it's fairly collaborative. This is something that I'm saying because when you grow in an organization, you will realize that your people quotient keeps growing up, okay, and the subject quotient keeps going down. Okay, so you as you grow, you don't look at the technical definitions, something that you would have learned in your engineering college, and what you have to do is manage more people. I think to that extent, if you see, my biggest learning has been the people skills. And I'm not saying this because we're having this interview. In my discussions with my team members, I always give a lot of credit to that. What we learned in BIT Sindri has had a lot of impact in how I am doing today.
That's a beautiful thing, sir. Even whosoever is working in an organization, if any organization, even in his schools, we connect to this. If you want to work with your team, you have to be collaborative. You have to be humble to the team. You have to applaud them, and you have to take their blames, and you have to, share the success stories. That is very true. From the perspective of a regular employee, I would like to ask, because you are holding a management position right now at Castrol. So from the perspective of a regular employee who recently joins the company, he wants to grow in the company, and somehow this growth, it becomes the single source of motivation for that employee. So somehow the initial aspiration, when other factors kick in, this aspiration gets converted into frustration of that employee, because frankly speaking, not everybody can climb to the highest rung of management. So what is your take on this? How should a person deal with growth in the company? How much should he be invested in that particular aspiration?
So, very unique question. I think this is something that as leaders we all grapple with. Okay, so I'm leading a big team here, and that's something which comes to us all the time. And I would want to answer this question thinking that as if I have joined a new organization. And Shweta, I'm also mindful that what I'm trying to give you is my perspective. This may be absolutely different for some other individual. So uh, I think it depends on what's the kind of career that individual wants to make. Okay, so in terms of how much he or she should be invested, I think it's completely personal choice. What I would definitely advise is that obviously there are few factors that you talked about which kick in at different points of time. I think the biggest factor um, is that whether you are learning every day, whether you are challenging yourself, and whether you are growing from a learning point of view. Everything else, and I'm talking more from a point of view when you have joined in and you are new to an organization, I think that's the most important thing at that point of time. I'm also aware that that's not something which comes. Okay, I think there are other priorities like commercial things, locations, multiple other benefits which will kick in and which will force you to start thinking in a very very different direction. And that way you will then think whether that investment is right or not. You will always question it. Even that is not a wrong decision. I would compare myself with a lot of my MBA friends who have moved 5 6 organizations. Okay, and I'm here working for last 14 15 years in the same organization. I think we always discuss there is nothing wrong or right. I think we should find value in what we are doing. We should try and find new challenges, things that motivate us. So we believe that maybe the location is the biggest motivating factor at that point of time, and having weighed this against other priorities that you have, you should take your call. For me, loyalty has always been a great virtue. I have found growth challenges in everything that I've done in this organization, and it has been compensated that way. So I think I've kept on growing, I've kept on getting new challenges, and I've kept on learning. And this is why I've got remained here for this while. But as I said, though no preferences, you should choose your path well, and obviously choose that after weighing all the other options.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your perspective. I would just like to highlight the takeaways from whatever you said. You very well pointed out that all these preferences, all these priorities are highly personal, and nobody should keep any point of time. Nobody should be focused on only one direction, because things keep on changing. When we talk about organization and we talk about personal growth, things keep on changing. So first of all, you should know what do you exactly want from yourself. Keep on learning, keep on finding your motivation, what exactly excites you at your job, and then you are good to go. Thank you so much. But in the same league, however, you answered few of the points, but again I will have to ask this question: serving one company for your lifetime, vis-a-vis being a job hopper, the pros and cons, your perspective on this.
Uh, no, so as I said, I'm not somebody who would want to judge one versus another. Okay, I when I joined Castrol, even today, I have not made a commitment that I have married to Castrol. Okay, and no, everybody knows this. I think I never thought that I'm going to stay so long. For me, I think it's a personal choice, and it depends on what is the priority for that individual. I also said this, Shweta, the priorities keep changing. Okay. And at some point of time, when you think the priority is not important, but 2 years, 3 years later, that priority will become important, and that will force you to make a lot of different career decisions. We have all gone through this. We know a lot of friends. I know a lot of friends where those priorities have required them to change their career decisions, and they have all made those changes and they're happy. I have stayed in this organization because I said it matched my aspiration. The organization has continued to give me new challenges, gave me a lot of learning opportunities. So I think that is where, but I think there is no right or wrong. I have seen a lot of people who have hop jobs and are large, hugely successful. So I think success aati hai. I think that's the most important thing. You have to follow your dreams and you have to follow your passion.
Definitely, success is not a function of how much changes you are making in your life because you are bound to change. Thank you so much, sir. At this point, let us hear about your association with art and creativity. So, we will take a bend in this conversation. So, professionals are often accused of losing the prime time or losing the workmanship in case they are more inclined towards their hobbies or their creativity. It is like you cannot have it all. Okay, this is the perspective of the organization when they are dealing with artists among their professionals. So since when and how the artist in you took the baton and started running the relay race, that is still going, as I suppose. So all about your college, SP Jan, where did you take off from?
So I sang Mere Mehboob Kayamat Hogi in my arts club audition. Okay. And I was royally rejected. Okay. So that was my first attempt towards trying something in the field of art. But jokes apart, I think when I joined SP Gen, before that it was all about sports. And I played a lot of sports. But I think when I joined SP Gen, there was a group called GASP. Okay. And that still remains Guild of Actors at SP, and it was more about inquisitiveness. What is this about? I would want to do something different. I don't want to study. Those were the things that forced me to go towards it. And there's this group of individuals in the first year. They used to come together. Nobody knows this. Some of them come with some experience of arts and all, but most of them are raw. But what they commit is a lot of time that they will devote. Okay, so a lot of dedication, long runs, and do this apart from your studies, which is typically very very heavy in the year one. But this is a group of people who commit time, and I know I was one of them. It was just about experiencing something new. I would tell you, I think that has changed my life. um, i I never knew that I had it in me. I was started working there. I was doing props. I was doing prompters. I was actually a prompter. They all still call me Prakash prompter. So that's the way I was doing. And some few things happened here and there, and I ended up directing that play. Okay, it was a play called Kamla, written by Mr. Vijay Tendulkar. I met Mr. Vijay Tendulkar at his house, where I went and invited him for our play. He was not well, he couldn't come, but he definitely shared his best wishes. We had some great guests coming over and seeing that play. And I think when I directed, over the whole process changed. I think the way we do theater, and I would say that's an amazing talking point that I've had. We all have some talking point. You have many, Shweta, but I had one talking point on being associated with theater. I did theater for 2 years in MBA. Did some plays, did some shows here and there, learned a lot of things, made a lot of friends. Then started going and watching a lot of plays in Mumbai. That was not possible anywhere else. Obviously in Jamshedpur and in where places in Bihar and Jharkhand. So I think started playing, going to NCPA, Prithvi Theatre, and multiple other theaters and auditoriums. I think that's something which has changed everything. Then फिर से happened, and I'm getting into maybe a little more trajectory than what you asked. But I think we made a theater group after many many years of college. So I think 4 or 5 years are down the line. Some of the like-minded people working in different corporates. Okay. And as the name suggests, it was the second inning for all of us. We have done theater a bit here and there. I had some brilliant Marathi friends who used to do this in Pune, and Pune is a hub for theater. So a lot of those guys who came with a lot of experience. And then we got together. We said we'll give all Sundays of the year to this play, and that's a huge commitment with the family, with the work that you do, with kids around. But I'm happy I did it. I know it was really passionate. Asmita supported me hugely. But if you see, I used to dedicate about 40 45 Sundays of my year practicing since morning till evening. And then we did multiple plays across Mumbai in different theaters, different auditoriums, including NCPA. Okay, so NCPA is like the Makkah of Indian theater, right? And I had done few plays there, and that's the most amazing thing. Uh, yeah, so I think I long answer to your short question, but I think it started at SP. I'm still pursuing this. Maybe I'll just summarize this saying that even at my corporate life, a lot of that has changed now. So we made a group in Castrol called Thank God It's Friday, and I had been doing a lot of events. Okay, I have done some online antakshari, which some of you have been a part of, and but apart from that, also I've done multiple shows at Castrol, and take team around, do certain events, and that's something that I've really started enjoying of late. How do you?
Sir, it's very easy, not exactly easy, but it is fun to have such kind of association with literature or art or theater in college, because you're surrounded with people having similar interests, having equal amount, equal proportion of time to dedicate to. But when you are in a profession, when we talked about physics, that is something more inspiring for people like us, because you are invested in a 9 to 6 job, then also you are sparing your time and you are collecting people of similar interests, and then you are doing things like that. So I would not stop here. I would ask you again to talk more about Firse and tell us about some, or even if one, if you can recall one memorable act that you still remember, and one character that you owned, and the character owned you for quite a long time.
Brilliant question. Okay, so thank you for asking. I think, as I said, Firse happened around 2012, 2013. 6, 7 of us working in Livers, Nivea, couple of entrepreneurs, Castrol, one investment banker, one star sports person. So I think varied media, investment banking, FMCG, different organization people, but one common interest of doing theater. I would tell you a story. When we used to practice, obviously these are very costly things, and we are paying ourselves. And we all understand theater doesn't pay. There is nothing that you get out of theater, and that is why a lot of these artists go to do movies, because it doesn't break even at all. You have to pay from your pocket, even if you're doing successful shows. Okay, sometime later I will share those commercials, but it is extremely difficult doing shows and managing livelihood. But thank God I had Castrol to take care of that. But we have done a lot of plays, Shweta. But one play which has always remained with me is this, um, you know, play called Ek Aakhri Chai. Okay, and this is a Marathi version of. There's a Marathi play which was done in 80s. We adapted it to Hindi conditions and Indian conditions now in late 20s, early 20s. Um, what we did was, this is a play where we are acting three individuals, two guys, a girl, and the play is set up um, in a room, and the setup is that the main character's mother passes away, and that day evening she was sick for a long time, and that day evening when these couple of friends go and meet that individual, that person says that I'm not feeling anything bad. I'm feeling light. And this is an emotion which I believe a lot of people have gone through, having seen some of their near ones um, ill for a long time. And if you go through that whole pain over a period of time, when that person is no more, sometimes, and in a very trivial and very difficult to say this, but you will realize some of them start feeling lighter, and a lot of them don't cry. And this setup is done in a way where these friends are saying, why are you not crying? And that person says, I'm not feeling anything bad. I think I'm light. I'm happy. And that guy starts saying, what it does to the audience is that they are puzzled. They're saying, how can it happen? And it generates very different emotion, and that's the part of the theater, right? You have to create emotions. We all see OTT platform, and when we see scenes and it puzzles us, the director is successful, right? So it was very intriguing. The entire play goes on like that, where this guy does a lot of fun, drinks, boozes, all these things he does, and then they all sleep overnight. In the morning of the play, last scene of the play, everybody's sleeping, lying on the floor after having I don't know how many rounds of drinks, and this guy wakes up, the main lead character, and he says I chaha, and he says again I chaha, and then he realizes that I is not there, and that is the moment when it strikes him for the first time, and he breaks down, he cries, and you won't believe after 1.5 hours of the play we would see 60 to 70% people crying in the auditorium. Okay, I think I just narrated this in few minutes, but if you go through that emotion when it is taking to a very different level of laughter and all the stuff, still being puzzled, intrigued of what is happening, why are these guys behaving this way on the stage, and when this end scene happens, people cried. And I would say that that's the most kicking thing which has happened when you see that you've raised some emotions. As an actor, that's what you need. It has given me a lot of confidence. I We all do this to entertain people, and I think that's something which is close. So I just wanted to share this small thing which we have done, and obviously it's an 1.5 hour play, talks about a lot of other things, but that's in nutshell that I wanted to talk.
So wonderful, wonderful. Actually, whenever we talk about theater, work, any artist, if he present his or her work, if that work is able to reach to the audience in a way that he or she never expected at the first place, that is the most beautiful takeaway from most beautiful return that he can get from his art. That is a wonderful thing. But you must agree with this that if you produce a work, you are bound to face criticism, okay,
Mm.
and those will come uninvited. You always expect good from your work, but people are not always good to behave or respond in the similar manner. So while many are constructive in nature, there are some criticism that stay with you, that keeps you, not in a very good mood after concluding your work. So how do you deal with negative criticism, or what are your suggestions or advices to the people for dealing negative criticism?
Okay, so to many of us, it will come out as a very standard answer, maybe. But I always deal with this, and I have evolved. All of us evolve over a period of time. We are not what we were 20 years back when we used to be agitated at every small criticism which come our way, right? Consider our Sarjana and Leo club days when there used to be the day when there is a club rivalry happening and somebody else has put another program on the same day, and you think that this is the end of the world and we have to go and fight those people, and there's little bit of criticism coming from one person, you don't handle this. But over a period of time evolve, Shweta. I think I have evolved as well. After handling a lot of people, I have 400 people coming in the plant. I think these days I don't get bothered. I would, and the way I do it is that I think I try to understand the other person's position. It helps you in understanding why would they do it, you know and if you're able to understand that person's position, if you remember, होके मजबूर मुझे उसने भुलाया होगा, right? So उसकी कोई मजबूरी रही होगी, and if you're able to understand that majburi, I think you will be able to understand that position, and you will be able to appreciate, even if for a little bit, I think you'll be able to appreciate that person's position. That will help you in understanding why would he or she say that, and then maybe you're able to handle it better. So I do that all the time. Okay, all the time I try and understand the other person's position, and explain it myself, and then take it on and move forward. That's my suggestion.
Yeah, that's wonderful. You have to understand that things are always a passing clouds. The rain will happen, the sunshine will come again. And I have learned one beautiful line, सबसे बड़ा रोग क्या कहेंगे लोग. So don't bother what people are saying. If you are clear on your path, if you know that your work is pure, try to understand the perspective of others. That's a beautiful thing to say, sir. Art says a lot of things that we may not say it otherwise. Okay, so politically, we are not in a position when we are working. We all have a definite place in our society, in the place we work. So we are not able to say most of the things that we can say through art. So how much do you think art or literature helps you in escaping reality?
I don't read a lot, Sweta. That's one thing which has not happened after my college days. I still, uh, I was actually never an avid reader, but I'm a good listener. So what I do is that when you ask about art forms, I hear a lot of you know, stories, or you know, I would see few things on YouTube, on something on leadership, something on challenging situations, managing complexities, managing people. How would you do that? So I do that very often. I think my theater, which gives you a very different kind of confidence, uh, stakeholder management, leadership, handling difficult situations, and this very difficult it is to for people who don't do theater to understand how does it impact your personal and professional work, but it does. And similarly, the if you hear leaders speak, you will be able to relate to a lot of these things in how they have evolved over a period of time, because they've all traversed typical path that you and I are doing today. In our days, they were doing a similar job, right? Similar work, and they would have handled the same thing. I think all this helps me in managing reality, as you asked, and managing things that I have on my plate and how do I handle it. So I would say both these things, and obviously listening to a lot of these good stories, listening to a lot of leaders speak helps me in managing things a little better way.
Again, everything revolves around the people connect.
Absolutely.
You, whatever you are saying, I can have this feeling that you are highly connected with people. So the emotions you want to convey to people through your work, whether it is your profession or your theater, is what keeps you going. So let me talk about what is your all-time motivation. There must be days where you are down. There must be days where you don't want to work, where you don't want to creatively invest yourself. But what keeps you going? What keeps your passion alive?
uh, I think I have a sense of uh, performance bias. Okay, I have a sense of doing things in a better way. uh, I would want to show up every day. Okay, I I would want to turn up to office every day and do few things which I think is right, without thinking about what people will say. And if I'm honest, transparent, consistent, okay, maybe three keywords. But if I'm all three, then most of the time things will turn up good for you. So to me, I think what keeps me going is the passion for excellence. I think doing hard work to do things well, and doing things good, doing a lot of good things for your team, for yourself, that people that you care about. So maybe again, the first word statement that I started with, the passion to do excellent things is something that keeps me going. And I rarely have, Shweta, and I'm not lying, I rarely have days and moments where I don't feel like getting up and not doing things that I want to do. There are days, we all have our moments, but it's important that how do you come back? And you may watch something, you may play. I play a lot of times. Driving is another stress buster for me. So that's my me time. There are a few things that I do if I'm stressed out, but generally I'm pumped, and I would want to keep my passion alive.
That's a very good thing, sir. Means saying it on a different note, a different way. Sometimes the people who are highly passionate, like you, I myself, I'm like that way. It's like an itch. It never goes away very smoothly, and until and unless we reach there, until and unless we do it our way, it keeps on itching us, and that is a good itch. It should have been there. So, talking about perfection, talking about passion, there is another passionate group that we are sharing now after coming out of college is Vitaan. It has risen like never before since last few years. We know the support and the foundation behind it, and we all have to play our role in that. We have to contribute in our own way. But what are your expectations from that literary group that is rising as an institution? How do you think we should tread forward to meet the core purpose without distracting ourselves? And how much do you think social media is going to help us in increasing our visibility without losing the core purpose of the institute? About with answer.
Yeah. So first of all, I'm overwhelmed. Okay. um, I think hugely appreciative of what you all are doing, Shweta, and I am aware how much of an effort you have taken to get this session done. Okay, so that talks about the passion you have, and obviously everybody in Vitan. I'm a part of those groups. You all have played a lot of role in where it is today. Saurabh sir, Ravi sir, Santosh, Satyan, you, Kumud, Deepak, Rajesh. I'm talking about the names that come and typically my 2, 3 plus minus years. But there are so many of you who are doing a fab job. Uh, I can I wouldn't say that there is something else that we need to do. Maybe I will reflect on how the social media is going to help. The stuff that we are trying to do, the stuff that we are doing on, you know, recording, putting videos, recitations and everything that I'm doing. I think this is going to be a huge step. We have to evolve in the quality of the videos that we put and everything else, and that's something that I'm 100% sure we will all do. Maybe we'll need some professional help as well, but I think the intent is absolutely in the right direction. I have always shared this every time I talk to you or the team in Vitan. I always hope that I'm able to contribute more. But again, it's all about situations we are in life. So maybe I will find time. That's something which always hits me. But I think I always wish Vitan the best, and I'm sure the stuff that we are doing is to become really big in future, and all these efforts that we are putting now, we will then cherish these moments when some of the efforts from Bitanis are really successful, and I'm 100% it will be, and I offer my best wishes.
Thank you so much, sir. The fact that we are all in together, it will definitely convert into something big in future. I might be undermining the objectives of Vitan by saying this, but I would like to put the efforts of Vitan in one line, that what Vitan is doing right now is leaving legacies for the future generation to come. So, do you believe in leaving legacies? If yes, what is going to be your legacy for maybe your kids, for juniors like us, for your subordinates, for everyone you will be leaving behind one day?
I do. Okay, so I do believe in leaving legacies, but I do not want to try too hard to do that. Okay, we should all be very mindful about that. Let me tell you something, Shweta. Okay, so you would know about wakes, right? Wakes are basically the waves which are created by ships when they move, right? And when the ship moves, uh, if the ship is moving smoothly, you leave less wakes. The froth that comes out when the ship is moving. If the wakes are lesser, okay, less turbulent, then it means that you're doing a good job. The legacy that I would want to, and I genuinely believe, is that your success is not what happens when you are there. Your success is how the ship moves and how much of a wake it creates when you are not there, when somebody else is running the ship. And if it is running smoothly even after you have left, then it is your success. I would believe in that legacy. I would believe that things should run smoothly in everything that I'm doing, and it can be in personal space, it can be in professional space. If things are moving smoothly, if I'm not there, that's my legacy. So I would just want to share that.
What a wonderful thought, sir. There is a term when a writer writes a biography of someone, okay, not an autobiography, is writing a biography of someone, then one single expectation from the writer is you have to write everything about your subject, but you yourself should not be present anywhere in the biography. Even if your lighting style, even if your thoughts, your perspective will make the reader do wow, what a writing piece this is, but nowhere in that piece that writer should be there. So that kind of legacy, if I'm not wrong, you are talking about that.
Absolutely.
Even if you are not there, your work will speak for you. So thank you so much, sir. Any long term plans?
I don't know. Uh, Career wise, I think I'm in right space. I would want to grow. I would want to continue follow my passion, sports, theater, people. Um, if I'm able to contribute anything to the team that I work with, the people that I know, my society, I would do that. I do my bit in bits and pieces over last 10-12 years. I would want to continue to do that. uh, that's it, I think. At this point of time, I don't have any big long term plan. I continue to work and I continue to enjoy my work.
Thank you so much, sir. The last question of the first segment of Samvad. Any message that you would like to give us to the audience? Anything related to your work ethics or personal growth or the way you can enjoy your life? Any concluding message to the
Yeah.
audience?
Okay. So three key things, Sweta. Okay. One, follow your passion and instincts. Okay. Two, be kind to others. And three is something which has remained with me, is that nothing replaces hard work. So that's these are my three messages to everybody who's going to see this, and to everybody. And I genuinely believe in all three, and that's something that I want to share.
Thank you so much, sir. I would like to repeat for those who have missed these three, kickoff points. Anytime when you are going to look forward for an inspiration, be passionate, be kind, and always, always do your hard work. Thank you so much, Jyoti sir. Towards our second segment, which will be as exciting as our first segment, is the rapid fire session. So you must be knowing the rules, that there are no rules except that you have to be fast, you have to be rapid in your answer. So are you ready, sir?
Yes.
Okay. So smart watches or analogs, and why?
Smart Smartwatch, because I'm wearing this.
Okay. Beaches or mountains?
Beaches in Goa.
Okay, I was expecting this because your association with Mumbai, and I think Silvassa also have a shoreline now.
It does. It is.
Sunset from the hilltop or sunrise on beach?
Sunset on the beach.
Okay. The most important creative lesson of your life?
Okay, rapid fire. So most important creative lesson.
Lesson. Or any lesson that you want to put forward but creatively, not in plain words.
Let's come back to that, please.
Okay, I'll come back. I'll definitely come back. One of the most powerful dialogues that you usually do not forget. Dialogues.
Okay, so this is not a dialogue, but I think this has remained very, very closely with me. I read somewhere that जिंदगी ऐसी ही चलती है, कुछ अंदाज से और कुछ नजरअंदाज से.
अरे वाह. Very nice. Favorite movie?
चक दे.
Chak De. You can watch again and again.
Absolutely.
It is indeed a very, very beautiful movie. Your biggest fear, if you have one.
Yes, I have. I think it is related to what we discussed. The day when I don't get up, being pumped and trying to do well. That's my biggest fear.
Okay. Favorite personal catchphrase?
थोड़ा है, थोड़े की जरूरत है.
Okay. What do you wish you learned sooner? You must have some realization.
Theater maybe, Shweta. I think I never thought I had it in me, but maybe if I was able to do this earlier, then I would have had a lot of more fun.
Okay. Advice to your younger self?
Again, I read it somewhere. Be yourself. Everything else is already taken.
Okay. Draw 3 similarities between you and theater.
Collaboration
Okay.
puts you on the spot always, and you never know what you can deliver.
Okay. If you had to spend a day in someone else's shoes, whose shoes will be that, and why?
I slightly traditional answer, but Asmita these days, my wife, is doing a fab job in managing kids, because I come to plant every day, and she's working in a startup. On a Sunday when I'm at home, I there are times when I get frustrated with these kids and everything else and managing so many things. I always go back in the evening thinking how would she manage this. So I would want to put myself in her shoes and try and do this for one day, seeing that what it feels like working in a startup and managing kids and managing other priorities.
Wonderful. If you had to start over, would you choose a different path in your career?
No, I think coming from the background I have, I don't think I would choose. I would follow the traditional path of doing engineering and then doing work for a few years, doing MBA, and then settling down in a good organization. I would not
That have
choose an
wonderful
automation.
already.
Yes.
Yes. If your creative works were edible, what would it taste like?
Oh, uh, mango. You're not
Okay.
asking why, right?
No, I'm not asking why. The audience can take up different, takeaways from this.
I agree.
Leave it to them. Leave it to their wild imagination. Describe yourself in one word.
Passion.
Definitely. Passion. So should we come back to the question that we left out?
What was that? Creative lesson of your life.
Yeah, creative lesson of your life. Or you can say it like that. What do you means to you? How can you define creativity? What is creativity for you?
Okay. So thank you for that. I was thinking, what is the meaning of that sentence? So, creativity is, I think, what comes naturally to you. Okay, and a person who's on the shop floor, can be as creative as you are. So you don't need to be educated or done some specific course to become creative. I think I would relate creativity to being natural.
Wonderful, sir. Thank you so much once again, sir, for being with us. You won't believe that I had prepared for this interview and I had taken cheat notes from your colleagues, your friends from the college, and I had got so many inputs from that what I could ask the great Jyoti sirs to extract most out of you. And I guess our purpose is fulfilled from this conversation. So thank you so much, sir. We got to learn a lot about work ethics, how to be contented in your life at your work. We learned about how and in what way creativity shapes and reshapes your life. So thank you so much and all the very best for all your future endeavors and whatever you are doing right now. May you shine everywhere you go. Thank you so much, sir.
I want to take a minute, Shweta, and I would say maybe it is not a part of this interview, but I have been a huge admirer of what you're doing. And you know this. I've said this few times, but I think the stuff that you're doing is inspiring. Please continue to do that. You have huge energy, Shweta. I still remember some of the interactions that we have had in the past, and uh, you are an inspiration to many, including me. So keep doing the good work, keep taking care of yourself, and thank you so much for all the follow-ups that you have done and to make this happen. I had a gala time. We have spent an hour. The clock says an hour, but it just zipped fast away. So I think it was lovely talking to you, and I would want to thank you and everybody else for considering me for this opportunity, and I loved every bit of it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.